Tesla's making some major moves. Elon Musk's announcement that Tesla will now only offer full self-driving as a subscription is the beginning of a major shift in strategy and rollout. And with Tesla now locking in Tom Zhu, Tesla's head of China Auto, for 5 years, with 520,000 stock options, maybe worth $10 billion over time, it's clear it's go time at Tesla. We got the bulls here with us today. We got the power bull, the queen, Tesla boomer mama, Alexandra Merz, wearing her beautiful, beautiful outfit. You got the rational bull, Mr. Incredible, the executive, Jeff Lutz, and we have the golden bull, Larry Goldberg. Welcome, everybody. How are you guys all doing today?
So wait a minute.
Good.
Yeah, but does that mean I'm not incredible?
There's only one, Mr. Incredible. That's it. We'll find you.
And not an executive either, Larry.
I give you the queen title.
I don't know what's going on. I would have put you as both.
Oh, well.
I call you the thinker.
I'm just going to have to live with my lot.
We just have to go to HR and get your title
Yeah,
updated.
yeah.
It's clearly wrong.
Yeah.
Did you think a couple of minutes ago how nice he is, Herbert? You see how quickly that changes?
A few minutes ago, Larry was giving me praise, and then now.
No.
Well, now I realize what you think of me. Now, I withdraw everything.
Oh,
you were right, Alexandra, in first.
Okay, two main topics today. One is the subscription for FSD. Is that a new business model? And then Tom Zhu, are they now going full force, creating cars, manufacturing, everything on board? The company and the product. I don't look at the quarterly stock movement.
A very realistic bull, questioning certain decisions.
The rational bull. We enjoy listening to bears.
Looking for the red flags. You're supposed to react.
Yeah, we only earned 50 cents a share the last quarter. I mean, come on, guys.
But before we do that, Elon dropped this video of him holding a version of Optimus, but it's a video, and he said feeling optimistic about the future, and clearly it's a Grok Imagine video. I'll turn off the music. Clearly it's not even his face. But do you guys think that this photo right here, do you think that this is that version 3?
I put a post out. I mean, you pause the beginning of a Grok Imagine. I mean, it's taken from it looks like from a real photo. I don't know what's going on with the robot's left arm. I get that. But I mean, this is clearly something different. We don't know what's going on. We know Elon likes to play all kinds of jokes as well, but we also know Tesla's developing a new version of Optimus, and everything's kind of heating up. So I don't think there's just going to be an event and it's going to be revealed. I think there's going to be some interesting Easter eggs and things out there for people to get to. But this is obviously a critical part of the company. There's some folks that have seen the version 3 of Optimus, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But this is the future of the company, and it's going to be maybe the most significant and the biggest part of the company in its entirety.
Anybody else? I don't think it is. Optimus version 3.
It is not.
Yeah,
absolutely, it is not. I mean, just have to look at the hips, the torso. This is not an Optimus or anything like an Optimus. Never mind the looseness and the flow of the hands. Just look at the hips and the torso. So,
what was the purpose, think, of him putting this out?
He's having fun.
He's feeling optimistic.
He's just trying to get us talking.
It works.
No, I mean, it's it's a joke.
And then, but Jason Calacanis was physically there 2 Sundays ago, and this is what he said about visiting the Optimus lab.
2 Sundays ago, I went to Tesla with Elon, and I went and visited the Optimus lab. There were a large number of people working on a Sunday at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And I saw Optimus 3. I could tell you now, nobody will remember that Tesla ever made a car. They will only remember the Optimus, and that he is going to make 1 billion of those. And it is going to be the most transformative technology product ever made in the history of humanity, because what LLMs are going to enable those products to do is understand the world and then do things in the world that we don't want to do.
Yeah.
I believe it'll be a 1-to-1 ratio of humans to Optimus, and I think he's already won, but I don't want to speak out of school. But I do have a box.
Yeah, he's already won. Yeah,
I think that's getting
can
back to
confirm.
old. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I think that's getting back to old, not Silicon Valley, but just the U.S. product development, manufacturing, doing a Sunday 10 a.m. I mean, I remember that when we were transitioning to the smartphone and we had a massive deadlines we had to meet because if we didn't do it, somebody else would. And we worked every shift, everything was engineers, around the clock, people hand carrying stuff back and forth to just not have any logistics delays. We call it counter to counter type shipping, where you just had somebody go to the place, grab it, put it under their arm, get on a flight, and I think that's the mode they're in.
Yeah, and I can confirm that. I was in November in Palo Alto. Remember, I was invited by this bank to discuss with institutional investors what Tesla Boomer Mama is all about and what we think of corporate governance. It was after the shareholder meeting. It was end of November. I also had the privilege to assist at a investor relation meeting at the factory the next day. So we were there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I think until Tuesday morning, and drove multiple times Saturday and Sunday next to the campuses in Palo Alto, and there were cars. The full parking was full. The lights were on day and night. People inside. When we drove back from the restaurant, it was, I don't know, 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. People were walking in there, and the parking lot was full. I mean, they are working around the clock.
Okay, well, one day we will not remember Tesla even made cars at all. It's all going to be Optimus everywhere. I know Larry believes that it's going to be all about data centers in the sky, cities in the sky, cities on the moon. Right, Larry?
Well, I think you know everything goes together. The point is there isn't one thing without the other. Data centers in the sky, I think, are going to be the sine qua non. It's going to be the necessity for a highly functional robot. So because when you think about the knowledge the robots need and how they have to move around the world and how much more complex the world is than a predefined road with predefined rules and predefined laws and, predefined and really 3 degrees of freedom. The bot that has umpteen degrees of freedom, well, probably about, somewhere between 25 and 35 in that range, that's untold number of complexities beyond where a car is. So you're not going to get there with 7 billion miles or with, some sort of generated environment. You're only going to get there with literally trillions of images of people moving around the world and robots operating in that environment. And so robots, to get to the level of human capability, is going to have to learn an awful amount of logic. And by the way, just to pick on Jason, because I love picking on Jason, there won't be LLMs. There will be a very different model to an LLM. I know he's using it, in short for AI, but there will be very large models, but there will be, real world models. And those real world models are dramatically richer than a tokenized LLM, dramatically richer. So, we're going to have to see enormous amount of development beyond where we are now. And for that development, the only realistic solution ultimately is data centers in the sky. So I don't see data centers in the sky as being the biggest thing. I don't see robots being the biggest thing. I don't see, cars being I see a combination of all the above, and the one doesn't work without the other.
Well said, Larry. Always a bigger scale than even I can bring it to. So we've been saying that 2026 is going to be the year, and we're expecting Optimus. He's hinting that Optimus is coming. We're expecting full self-driving robotaxi to scale, and then now what we weren't, many of us were expecting was a subscription model would be a transition to a subscription model. What I want to ask you, Jeff, is is this the sign? Do you take this as a sign that Tesla's now moving towards this, real transition of a business model completely? So Elon posted this, Tesla will stop selling FSD, after February 14th. So less than a month from now, FSD will only be available as a monthly subscription thereafter. Currently today, you can buy FSD straight out for $8,000 in the US. You pay that, you have it. You have unlimited use of FSD for the life of your car. But from now on, after February 14th, they're not going to sell it to you anymore. It'll all be monthly subscription thereafter. We kind of knew that this was coming because lots of signs were pointing to this. We've pointed out that there's many different kinds of subscriptions Tesla's been offering, but in his CEO package, one of them was reaching 10 million active FSD subscriptions. It was clear at that point that he's going to push hard for that. And then whether or not it's going to stay at $99 per month or it's going to increase or not, that's obviously something different. But Jeff, is this a signal to you that the business model for Tesla, this is the beginning of that transition?
Yeah, a lot of other tech industries went down this path as well, and they ended up staying there and going to this model of monthly subscriptions. The smartphone famously went through a big transition because in the beginning, a premium smartphone was around a $500 or $600 device, and then over time, with all the features and functionality and the capability of these devices increasing, the price increased to a point where between the carriers and between the OEMs, they figured out a relationship to not only market the devices, TV, store, ads, and so forth, but also figure out a way so to fund that and to fund to make it a little bit more easier to consumers to get into. And I think the whole approach to getting yourself from point A to point B is going to go into rapid and massive transformation, because it's not going to be the iterative thing with Uber where you really have to be in a certain environment and a certain location to not own a car. And I think what Robotaxi is going to enable, it's going to almost enable it where this is a mode of transportation. Whether it becomes your only mode of transportation is up for a little bit of debate maybe, but this will be a form of transportation that you would have never done a couple of years ago that you may regularly do now, especially if it gets down to around 30 cents a mile. So I do think this is directionally correct. I think it aligns with his compensation plan. I don't think he's doing it for the sake of his compensation plan. Tesla always simplifies as well. I always view this as, okay, we have this upfront model and we have this per pay-as-you-go model. And I do think they want to simplify. I do think this is aligned with how they're going to offer multiple services in the future. And I really think they're going to kind of do away with ownership, at least in one way. And it's going to be a new part of the business. This is where the rental business is coming from. This is where a number of things, and I think Tesla's going to have this part of the business where if you don't want to own a car, but you want great transportation from point A to point B at the lowest price point available, we have something else for you. And I think that's what this is ultimately coming down to. In terms of signaling, we're in this 90-day stretch between here and Cybercab, at least starting production. Remember, April was start of production. It's not cars are available for purchase. So I think people should keep those things in mind. But we're starting to enter this window of Tesla's making cars without steering wheels and pedals. And so that should mean something for the capability of FSD unsupervised.
Do you guys think that there will be two kinds of FSD, right? The FSD that you would use supervised, and then there's one that's unsupervised? Or, you know what I mean? Like, how would they structure this ongoing?
I don't think there'll be two types of FSD. I think there's one solution, which is a full solution. But I do hope that there are going to be multiple ways of subscribing. I think there are people who are traveling little that would rather have a per mileage subscription, the same way that there is still a market for people purchasing telephone services with those cards, right, where they prepay or whatever. I think that is a small proportion, but these people would be overwhelmed with having $99 a month or higher for a full service 30 days a month, because that's not what they need. And I think I do hope that people that use it professionally as robotaxis or whatever will have to pay some premium. I'm still, we've debated for lots of solutions on how revenue sharing will occur for robotaxis, and maybe the price of the subscription, a monthly subscription is one element of that.
How much do you think they'll bundle? There's this new job description here for Senior Product Manager, Vehicle Subscriptions and Upgrades. It's like, enhance customer satisfaction, deepen engagement, drive long-term revenue growth. You'll partner across the mobile app, the in-vehicle UX, vehicle software, service, commerce systems, seamless upgrade paths that feel integrated to the Tesla ownership, new subscription and upgrade opportunities. I think that's it. They don't say exactly what it is. Of course, they're not going to tell you what it is, but we know that you can now subscribe for windshield, for tire. You can subscribe for insurance for some states. You can subscribe to premium. Maybe they'll add more. And
there will be the services of Robotaxi, cleaning, maybe even parking and hosting the car. Maybe you can just completely delegate the whole 30 days to Tesla, who is running your car. It can be anything between all that. And I'm sure they're going to come up with many other perks that you can subscribe to. It could also be in-car, I don't know why I call it in-car entertainment, right? Well, what are you going to do in the car, and how are you going to subscribe to these? Are these apps that are filtered through the Tesla network? Remember we had this discussion with Elon where he thought that Apple and Google Play were taking much too much margin out of it. Well, we'll see how much Tesla is going to take for all these additional apps that are going to be developed. So, you can actually look at the phone industry for good inspiration what's possible. And it will be from the minimalistic ones that only need it for certain trips to the ones that use it as a full-time moneymaker and have all the options in there.
There are only going to be 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million vehicles on the road. That pales into insignificance compared to the number of devices there are in the world. It's not even So to have a separate subscription for your music app directly with the app, with the musical provider, I think the model is looking more like, the phone app, the general, most of the apps are going to come through their existing channels. Right now, I think what's going to be really valuable for the car are the kinds of things that are real value add to vehicle travel, where Tesla will be the sole provider. Right now, it's just very little. It's like, premium connectivity and a little bit. But I think that when they add, it'll have to be added specifically to vehicle functionality, rather than, general app that you can get from the App Store. That's just my view. I may be wrong. Right now, they're providing all of those apps, at pretty much within the $25 a month or whatever it is. I don't know exactly how much it is. Just because you can use the app on your phone and play it through the car right now. So what is the added value of subscribing directly from the car?
So, okay, let's walk me through this, guys. Do you guys think that Tesla will continue to sell cars outright? I'm not saying they're going to stop next year, but maybe 3 to 5 years.
Wait.
That's a much heavier question.
Yeah.
There you go again. No. I told you they will stop selling cars. We've had this discussion many times.
No. That's why you can repeat it. So, will they stop selling cars? Will they continue to do leasing, financing, or this new monthly model where you just pay a monthly model? And some people are telling me that's not the same as leasing, where basically you're just renting. There's a lot of signs that they could do that, or all, right? Or all. What's your thinking? Okay, go ahead, Alexandra, because you were saying just
I've been having this discussion with Larry at least 2 years ago, if I don't remember exactly, about thinking that by the end of the 2020s, so maybe 2028, maybe 2030, I don't know. I don't think Tesla will continue selling cars because it doesn't make sense to make 16, 17, maybe 20% on the margin of selling a car compared to the money you can make by owning it over its lifespan. So I just, as a shareholder, I don't even think they should sell cars. I obviously want my Tesla car. I'm having this debate a lot with people I discuss Tesla with, who said, well, I always want to have my own car. I have that same feeling. I would like at least one car that's ours, right? Where our stuff is in it, that's always sitting there waiting for me. It can run errands for other people in the meantime, but I still have this possessiveness of a car. But I can imagine very well that this vanishes, that this status symbol of people owning a car becomes much less of a status symbol. Now, do people own their phones? I don't think most people own their phones. I mean, they're financing and then they're swapping them after a year or two. They put some money down at one point, but I do believe the ownership of the phone is much more on a feeling of an ownership of a profile that you can download in the next half hour to another device than the love to the device. And I think we'll get there with the car. That this ownership, so I'm talking from two perspectives. Tesla as a business, should they continue selling cars? And I say no. And ownership for the retail person, do they want to have ownership of a car? I think that will take some time. But there again, you want your profile in a car. You want the moment the door opens and you sit in it, that it's your car. But Tesla can do that with any car. When you rent a Tesla at the airport, your profile is on it, right? So it's in my view, we're getting there the same way we're getting there with the phones. Much less.
I think with
ownership.
Yeah, there's a rental model where you're just paying a monthly fee. You don't own the car. You're renting Teslas, but you can say, "Hey, I want this Model 3 in my garage every night for the next 20 days, and then I'm going to flip it out." Or you can say, "I want it in my garage every 30 days." You can still have it in your home. There's a model where you can do that, but you're just monthly payment, not necessarily buying it outright and paying the $50,000.
The car for an hour, for a day, for a year, the way you want it. I think this is becoming a very tailored to your needs, and then people will become actually much more conscious about how much do they really need a car, because we're so used of having it standing there in our garage, and then some people like Jeff have multiple ones sitting there in their garage. Every time I think of Jeff, I just imagine his garage. Anyway, so maybe we're not used to that. We have to let that go. But once we think this through, is how much do we actually need each car and what do we need it for? And if we can book it for exactly that trip and for exactly that usage and for exactly those times, and it is here and it is profiled for us. I don't know whether that's the right word for it, but you see what I mean. You get in there and it's my seat position and my music and my everything and my whole setup immediately, instantly there. I think I can adhere to that.
In your model, Alexandra, then not able to buy it outright, which means you probably don't need to finance it either, but would you still be able to lease it?
Well, leasing is a question actually of ownership, right? When you lease it, it is still Tesla owning it, and you own it for the period of the lease. And then at the end of the lease, you may or may not have an option to purchase it, and then you become the owner, right? So during the lease time, you are, for the DMV and all other purposes, insurance, you're responsible for it, but all this is going to fade away. But the real owner is Tesla Financing, right? Who finances this lease. So I don't know whether they will structure it as a lease or just as a rental model. In my view, it's more intuitively a rental model than a lease. I don't know whether you would still call it a lease, because a lease, people have this traditional sensation, it's their car, right? In the rental model, it's their profile.
Yeah, I agree with you, by the way. So let's go down the table here. Oh my gosh. No more selling cars, no more financing, lease plus rental. Those are the two options, and variety of tiers. What do you think, Jeff? At some point in the future, not next year.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time. I'm agreeable on some things, but it's not going to happen that quickly. None of these types of cultural transformations happen as quickly. And also, from a cost structure perspective, at some point, there's a tipping point where we move the utilization problem away from the consumer. Because today you buy a car and you underutilize it. And that's why the cost structure is so high. And then here you have Tesla coming in and saying, well, we can offer an autonomous transportation service at a much cheaper cost per mile. But if everybody gets out of their ownership and everything switches over to Tesla, I mean, they could eventually run into a utilization problem as well with their fleet. The other thing I think you have to think with these transitions is you have to think about human beings and their culture. So is somebody else going to create a service similar to Tesla at a similar price point over a similar time frame and have it available? If not, typically consumers don't like having one option only. So it's just something to keep in mind, that there's this whole thing of personal private property ownership and this feeling of, okay, what could Tesla shut my transportation services off if I, remember we had all these companies that were debanking people over the last couple of years, and could I do something wrong and all of a sudden Tesla cuts off my ability for because I gave them all my transportation. I said, I'm going to go only per mile. So that's how people think. I mean, but I do think Tesla is transitioning towards a model of per mile per time of use. And I think it's another sales vector for Tesla. I think they do build to order on cars. They do build the inventory on cars. They are starting a rental business, at least in the US, and they're going to see how it goes. And now you're going to have this robo-taxi business, and we'll see where that goes. But I don't think car ownership's going away anytime soon. I think that transformation would happen over, more than a decade.
Oh, more than a decade.
Jeff is right.
Okay.
I mean, it's as simple as that. Changing people's habits born of 100 years of use is going to be very, very slow. And furthermore, the way we're talking, it sounds like Tesla is going to be the sole offerer of the service. That's not true. So, firstly, on the issue of the phone, phones are owned by their owners. They may be financed through the phone company, but there's title to their phone. They own that phone. Title passes, there's no question about it. And they may pay it over 5 years. They may even pay it and have to give it back. But title to that phone is theirs, both in law and in reality. So now let's talk about, Tesla stopping to sell cars. One of the most important things to understand is that within 5 years, other companies will have the same technology. It won't be within months or a few years, but within some period of between 5 and 10 years, other companies will have the same technology. They'll have to. It's just how commerce works. It's just the reality. And in China, it's going to be much shorter than 5 years. And then the question is, how do Chinese cars get into Europe and into the United States? And the answer is with great difficulty, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen through Chinese building European cars and taking over the European manufacturing, just as they did Japan did the US manufacturing. So Tesla's going to have a three-year period where they're way out ahead of the rest of the world, and then the world is going to catch up. There's no doubt in my mind. It's just that the compute power is rising at such a rate that other people are going to be able to do in a much shorter period of time than Tesla did in the period of time that they did. So we and Tesla are going to live in a multipolar world. Tesla's going to keep moving ahead and ahead, and we believe in them. We believe that they're going to keep. But Jeff is right. The habit of owning a car is not going to go away very quickly. It's not going to be like the horse and buggy versus the car, because it's just a different business model, or just a business ownership. It's just a different ownership model. Now, one thing is clear, is that in a robotaxi world, it's a world built for the American physical reality. It's just magical that we are built for the road, and it will be magical that the road will become that much more convenient. It's also magical that the homeowner will be able to live with far less vehicles, some with zero, Alexandra's right, but many with just one where they now have two, or many with one where they now have three or four. There are many homes that own 3 or 4 cars, many homes. Most homes own at least 2. Many own 3 and 4. That number is going to reduce, and that's going to be the beginning of the move towards the world that Alexandra sees. But it's going to take, and I believe Jeff is right, it's going to take decades. And in that decadal period, many things are going to change. So I don't think the stasis that we see now is going to continue. But I do think that that car ownership is going to continue for a very long time. I certainly want one in my garage all the time. Why? Because I don't want to wait the 10, 15, or 20 minutes. I'm going to wait for a car to turn up when I suddenly decide, I have to take the dog to the park now because I've got a break.
No, we just said that there's a model where you're renting it and the car is in your garage the whole time, all the time.
That's
You're
the same as renting a phone.
ownership.
That's the same as renting a phone.
There's no difference.
How title is registered is a whole different world. But right now we have the opportunity to lease, we have an opportunity to rent to own, we have all kinds of different ownership and title arrangements. That doesn't change.
Okay.
But there is a car that is identified with me.
Yeah.
My wife has walked in with a glass of wine.
Nice.
Thank you.
I wouldn't go 10 years. You guys knew that technology revolutions happen very quickly, and price is all the difference that can change somebody's mind pretty immediately. Significant price reduction.
Yeah, I want to add, I think you're all saying correct things, and I'm always, much more impatient for things to happen. But younger generation, the 20-year-olds, the 30-year-olds, and I would even say the 40-year-olds, they are much less attached to car ownership than we all are. Jeff,
absolutely true. Absolutely true. My 2 granddaughters got their cars. They're about as up to date as any kids. 18-year-old, 20, they got their cars, right out of the chute. Well, that's not true. My 23-year-old got hers later, but my 18-year-old, when she got a license, she got a car.
Okay, so great conversation. There's more to talk about that, but I want to ask about Tom Zhu, because this was a big development this week. He is, you guys tell me, if you now think he is the second man in charge in Tesla, he's paid a lot. So he was Form 4, and basically they are offering him 520,000 stock options to keep him if he stays for 5 years. We don't know what his job agreement entails. I'm sure there's milestones attached to that. But the calculation would be that if he stays for 5 years, a vesting schedule, he gets 520,000 stock options. If Elon hits his milestones, it could be worth $10 billion. $10 billion. And now why would Tesla do this? Because Tom is proven. He's taken Giga Shanghai. He is the king. No one in the world can do what he's able to do to efficiency of building manufacturing. And now Tesla is on the brink. This is it. We're going to go and mass produce robotaxis. We're going to mass produce Optimus bots. We're going to mass produce megapacks. We're going to mass produce AI data centers. Factory manufacturing is a critical thing. And Elon said, I'm going to push the button. We need Tom Zhu. We need to hang him in there. He could be the Tim Cook to Apple's Steve Jobs, right? The guy that took inventions and just made it like crazy efficiency. Okay. What are you saying? No. Okay.
Wrong. I think it's wrong. I think he's brilliant. Jeff and me met him twice at events where we were all invited, and we were looking out for him, meeting him, and he's a very brilliant person. And he is certainly a key person for the success of Tesla and manufacturing. But he's a very reserved person. He was standing on the sidelines. He was very open to shake our hands and exchange some nice conversation. Nothing profound, but really, really nice. And I am convinced he is the best person to execute the plans Elon put in place. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, we have the proof in the pudding. He did it he did it actually in Berlin as well. He was there at critical moments, and obviously in Shanghai, in the most difficult circumstances, in the most difficult years. I mean, he wasn't there yet when there was production hell in 2017, but he has been there since. So I think we're all enthusiastic to keep him. But I think your step to he's the king, he's the number two, he's the Tim Cook of Tesla is a step too far. I really do believe so. I mean, first of all, we're very lucky to have Elon and hope we have him for a long, long time to be. And Elon is just a person with such a profile that there is no number two able to stand next to him. It just doesn't exist. You can't clone him. You can't have a second one with the vision, the passion, the drive, the energy, everything. You take him from every angle. And I know there will be all the people screaming, look at the fangirl again. It's just a fact. It's not even fangirling. It is. So he's very specific. Now, does Tom Chu actually surpass Elon in certain areas? I do believe so. I think he is much, he's so meticulously organized and hardworking and focused on making manufacturing the utmost. And that focus brings with it that I think he actually gets the best results in the industry beyond the results that Elon had in that specific field. But that doesn't make him an Elon or a King or a Tim Cook.
So first of all, that is not what. First of all, I'm just asking a question. That's not necessarily what I believe. Okay. But I'm not saying that Tom Chu. Right? Yeah, I'm not saying Tom Chu is going to replace Elon. What we're saying is that he's the COO to a CEO. He's the guy that's going to make operations run, and that's what they need at this point. Elon will always be CEO.
Operations.
Right, exactly. Maybe he'll continue, and maybe there's this bigger model where SpaceX and XAI, and he's got big ideas. He's working on all those things, but he needs people to operation get there. And get things done. And Tom is the guy that's going to do it for Tesla. I mean, he's paid the most, isn't he? No one else in the company is paid more than him.
I think I addressed that already on Tuesday, but I'm most happy to say that again. We're waiting now for the 10K, right? In the 10K SEC filing, we will have, again, more details about executive remuneration. I do believe Tom Chu is number two, but we can't say that affirmatively until we have seen other people in the list. So is it today justified? Yes, because car manufacturing, and later on Optimus manufacturing, is the core business. But is it the only business? No. And does that make it a COO? Well, that depends how you define COO. I think in his field, he's unmatched. And I have the utmost respect for him. But it is a very clearly defined field. It is not running the whole business.
Yeah, I just come at it from two angles.
Just a quick comment. Is it manufacturing of auto not transferable to manufacturing of bots? And, the unboxed model can be used for both?
Okay. Let's split this up a bit. First off, Tesla has to pay people what their value would be out in the open market. And what's happening over the next 10 years, what in Elon's mind is he's going to put up a lot of factory space, a lot of facilities, energy, whatever the transformation that's going to happen in auto. And then of course, Optimus, there's a massive facility that's going to be built. That is Tom Chu's that's his background. He learned how to build cars later into that. His background is standing up facilities in really good timetables and really managing all the different variables to do that. So Elon's future is an AI-driven future, whether it's energy, vehicles on, real-world AI devices on wheels or humanoids. And you want the best person in terms of doing and running the manufacturing of that. That's worth a lot to a company. So they have to lock them up. And this actually isn't a tremendous amount of money in today's standards and what it would be over 5 years. They're paying these babies right now to go to various places and companies, Meta, to do AI. And they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars per year. And these people haven't actually proven themselves in their career in terms of shipping things of significance I'm not saying that they're all bad or not. I'm just saying that for the step one is you have to take Tom Zhu off the market, just like Tesla had to take Elon off. There's a price for Elon's time in the market. The second thing I noticed is no major media and tech publications. Now someone's going to go find one and say that they wrote about it. This was all just reported on X. It was a Form 4 filing or whatever, reported on X, and then a bunch of people on X wrote up, X articles. This wasn't covered by all the major blogs. I remember when 2 program managers from Tesla left, and I want to say 20 different publications and outside blogs wrote up, did write-ups on these people and what's happening. Here you've got arguably one of the top, call it 2 to 5 people inside of Tesla getting what could be a $10 billion lockup, and it's just birds chirping. This is great. This is great news for Tesla. Finally, with all these comparisons and so forth, Tim Cook was to Steve more of a COO, because there's more to what the job is than just the manufacturing of the object in the factory. Remember, Apple doesn't even own their factories. They use contract manufacturers to build their product. But what Tim's expertise is and was the whole planning to, getting product components into the factory, the whole logistics of getting inbound and outbound from factories. But when it comes time to what's the process engineering? How am I going to get this down to a sub 10-second rate? That is not Tim Cook in the room leading the team. That is a different group of people. And I would actually say that muscle doesn't exist at most of these tech companies today, but that muscle clearly exists inside of Tesla. And I think Elon allows and also promotes the team to think differently. So finally, it's going to come down to the whole robot race, the whole humanoid race is one of the legs, no pun intended, is can you manufacture this thing? Can you manufacture it at all? And then can you manufacture it
and at cost?
At volume and at cost. And to get inside of that box and to land everything, including quality, at all 4 corners of that box, that is going to be, you're going to see 90% of the companies that are making a YouTube video today wiped off. They're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And that is the value of someone like Tom Zhu. But just keep in mind, Tesla has a supply chain team that gets the products, does the engineering in the supply chain. That is different than Tom Zhu. Tom Zhu is the manufacturing of the product. And in some segments, I think he was overseeing sales and operations of it. But anyway, there's some subtle differences, but getting AI products made, that's why Tom Zhu's locked up.
So guys, let me tell you who Tom Zhu really is. I mean, yes, he has a certain shyness in public. Tom Zhu, firstly, comes from my neck of the woods. He did an MBA at Duke. Then he went to the toughest places in Africa, the toughest place in the world, to build a dam and to build, irrigation systems. And he shone, he just was outstanding. And then he joined in 2014. So he's one of the longest lived Tesla executives. In 2014, he joined Tesla. And what did he do? He built a charging network in Tesla in China. So the guy's been around for a long time. He was there at the building of the factory. He was there at the equipping of the factory. He was there in bringing the factory up to production. He was never the front face of Tesla. That was, what was her name? Robin?
Grace.
Grace.
Robin.
Grace.
No, Robin in the beginning.
Robin
China.
In the beginning. Yeah, China, it was originally Robin. And so he has an incredible record at getting things done and getting it done in the face of bureaucratic intransigence and in extraordinarily difficult environments. Now, I don't know his ability to motivate sales and to get sales done, and that is very important, although that has never been an issue in Elon companies. Elon has never been a great salesperson, and he's never sold the product. In SpaceX, it was Gwynn. In Tesla, it was literally nobody. In fact, that is still the weakest link in the Tesla chain, that Elon believes that the product has to sell itself and does sell itself. So in my book, he has anointed Tom Zhu. That's just how I think, because I think that he sees this guy as a guy who will execute the most difficult task under the most difficult circumstances and get it done. Could be wrong, and maybe he will need some other part of the package, because you're not going to get another product genius like Elon Musk. And any product genius you get will not have the vision or the execution capabilities. So Tom represents the execution capabilities. Who would follow Elon on the public face? I don't think it matters. I think we have the roadmap spelled out for us. And that roadmap has unfurled and evolved in Elon's mind, and unfurled and evolved but if Elon actually leaves the company, there's so much roadmap available that in Tom Zhu's lifetime, if it's Tom, he'll never achieve it all. So, I don't think that's even a conversation. But don't underestimate the man. He is extraordinary on every level.
Yeah, and I agree on that for you. And I think it would be a team approach. I actually think we have 2 members on the board that are very good strategists. I mean, I think all the boards are great, but Joe Gebbia and Ira Ehrenpreis are 2 people I really value for their strategic input. And I think they're both very close to Elon and understand the man and understand, where he wants to go with all of his companies, that vision, this, more visionary planning. And both of these would need Tom Zhu to execute on the manufacturing.
Don't underestimate JB Straubel.
Oh, yes, of course, JB, of course.
Extraordinary board, an extraordinary board.
Yeah, always said so. Very complimentary.
So I think the point is that, here's Tesla on the brink of robotaxi and about to show off Optimus. We don't know where that is. That could be, we don't know yet where that is. That's not real yet until we see it. But Elon has said, right, we're ready. This is it. We're going to go and scale manufacturing of robotaxis. This is our future. Or turn the page. They $10 billion. Okay, let's not call it $10 billion. 520,000 stock options, clearly a significant amount to lock in Tom Zhu. And you're right, Jeff, I looked it up. 4 publications. One is Teslarati, a great publication that's, Tesla focused. 1 Tesla Q, and 2 kind of like no-name brands who just copied those, and that's it. No one else write about this, and this is massive stock option offering to a top executive of a Mag 7 company. Crickets out there.
Nothing.
And then my point though is not just that. The point is that people are completely missing what this means. This is Tesla showing you with real significant amount of money here that we're locking in the guy that's going to manufacture at scale, at cost, as you both said. Not only cars, but I'm thinking bots as well. There's no, reason why it wouldn't be bots as well. Yeah.
And who could stand up a fab, which is one of the most complex constructions in the world? It is the most complex construction in the world. Who could stand up a fab better than Tom Zhu?
That could be debatable, but standing up a
Jeff
fab and standing up. I've never set up a fab, to be honest with you, but I'm just telling you, they're 2 completely different things. But I get to understand the sentiment of where you're going, Larry, which is Tom's track record at setting up all these. I don't think anybody can set up an assembly factory faster. And I think Elon is going to look for ways to figure out how to stand up the Terafab, better, faster than anybody before. He's going to go, he's going to approach it orthogonally.
Yes.
In many respects, but there's going to be things that potentially they run into in terms of equipment lead times that are immovable. Which is, by the way, I think the reason that it was announced in 2025, and they're going to be something they're going to be moving on in a multi-year trajectory. But I think Tesla's going to lock up some other people on. I hope they lock up some other people on the senior leadership team, because they have some people on the team. It clearly, by the way, I think their leadership team is probably pretty well liked and well respected inside of the company. It's clearly well liked and respected by Elon because of their long tenure. These are people that Elon hired, and I wouldn't say molded in his likeness, but they figured out how to work for Elon and basically be in remote control than strategic guidance. So you've got a really good engineering executive, and you've got obviously an incredible design, industrial design lead in front. You have a Model S that's been out for 14 years or whatever, and it's still fairly timeless looking vehicle. So there's some very special people, and then the supply chain team as well. What those gentlemen have accomplished in terms of standing up these supply chains and localizing them all over the world. There's nobody, the Chinese haven't figured out, by the way, how to localize supply chains all over the world for auto. They've not figured this out yet. And Tesla has. So that he's got some people on his staff that are literally best in the industry at what they do. So I can potentially see some more lockups coming.
Well, there's only one senior vice president at Tesla. That's Tom. It's the only guy with that title. There are quite a few vice presidents, and titles don't mean a lot at Tesla, so I'm not putting too much store by that. But I think that the level of confidence Elon has in Tom is very special and very different to the level of confidence he has in the others. But he has high confidence in those people he works with, and those people who work with him obviously work under extraordinarily difficult circumstances and yet have remained in all this time. So, and they're fairly long serving. So I think that it's a fairly stable situation, but I think Alexandra is right. I think, he has to be thinking about the team as a whole at this point.
Yeah. I have a question which I don't consider a problem for myself, but I just wonder if it is a problem for the market and why people talk so little about it. Tom Chu is Chinese, right? So if Tom would be the number two,
he's not.
He's what?
No, he's a New Zealander.
Oh, he's from New Zealand? I thought he studied.
No, he's not from New Zealand. He was born in China, but he emigrated to New Zealand. He got his degree in New Zealand. So, he is, you can't say he's Chinese. He was born in China, that's reality, but he is not Chinese.
Okay, well, I think that's a very good point. And again, it wouldn't have been an issue for me anyway, but I just wonder, could that be an issue for anybody else, right? Could that be, especially in today's political situation? But Chinese, the question is not even on the table.
Given Elon's political situation, that would hardly be a consideration for the Tesla bulls. But anyway, yeah.
What do you guys think about Lars Morvey? Like you said, he's vice president of engineering. He should, and I was going to ask you guys a trick question, but who is in charge of Optimus? It's Lars.
Jeff, you see he's doing HR for Tesla now, Jeff? You see he's not doing our HR correctly, but the cyber.
Yeah, I was saying, I think we're doing a performance review for the entire senior leadership team. I'm sure they'd love that.
Who gets the crown? There we are.
Lars Morvey is in charge of Optimus, and if he's considered to be doing a good job, he should be locked in.
There's a lot of people. Like I said, there's a group of people that should be,
Ashok is the head of the Tesla, of the Optimus robot program.
Well,
that's official.
Let's be careful. This is nuanced. Someone has to get the hardware engineered and into the supply chain. That's probably...
I'm telling you that the title of head of Optimus program is Ashok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That was a great conversation, guys. You guys all gave great information. I appreciate it.
I'm sure there, Herbert Ong, HR for the world.
I'm HR for the world.
The HR job, first off, that's I think it's a pretty challenging job at Tesla.
I'm not
but in
HR,
terms of
guys.
the senior leadership team, you can easily see a lot of these people. They need to be taken off the market. I'm sure that's going to happen.
Jeff, Herbert has it on. It's okay.
I'm
Herbert
not HR. I'm
all
CEO.
Good.
I'm CEO. I'm gonna claim it as long as I can before Alexandra takes it over.
Herbert is
We all know
CEO of that quadrant in the
In my
screen. You
mind,
see, there's
we all
4
know who the
quadrants.
real
He is the
CEO
CEO
is.
of that.
HR manager ever.
I'm the worst HR manager. I'm CEO and HR. Okay, just be clear.
You know, just so you know, I get dozens of messages every week going, "You went after Herbert. Well done. Do it again." I'm like, yeah, well
What-
done.
people, why do they like that? Come on.
I love it. I love it, and I do too. So that makes too.
I love it too. Okay, so we've got, let's talk briefly about this. U.S. House Committee met a couple days ago. You guys can tell us how big of a deal this is. I'm going to play a couple of clips just for people to understand.
For autonomous vehicles. Why is a federal AV framework essential for the U.S. to win the AI race with China?
Thank you very much, Congressman, for your question. I will be brief. It provides the certainty to innovators, manufacturers, and the entire ecosystem, including those who invest in the technology, so they can continue to flourish and be integrated safely into our ecosystem.
He answered the question, why is a
thank you.
federal
I yield
autonomous framework essential to the U.S.? And I think they all agreed because it's an AI race with China. And listen to this, what she says about this cap to this.
Make it almost an unusable program for the industry right now. And we think it's a critical one for new innovative safety technologies.
And also to you, Ms. McCain, and Mr. Fulton, if you want to go first and Ms. McCain gets her breath there.
Okay, so isn't that great? So she's actually arguing why do we even have caps at all for this? We're talking about vehicles that are purposely designed for robotaxi. That's great. So that sounded great. Now, there was one part in this thing where somebody kind of said, I think we might need to have LiDAR, radar, and vision, for redundancy. So we don't know yet if that means maybe there's some sort of guideline says, yes, all autonomous cars must have LiDAR and radar. That's the one potential concern.
Yeah, I think what we have to understand is this is a House subcommittee meeting, right? There will also be a Senate subcommittee meeting. Then eventually the recommendation of each committee will go to the House floor and to the Senate floor where it will be voted. Both committees and both floors currently have Republican majorities. Then they may come to a sort of common text that will go through consolidation, is it called? What's the name? I'm sorry, I'm missing my name today. But anyway, there will be a phase where they consolidate those two.
Reconciliation.
Reconciliation, thank you, Larry. And then it may eventually get to the president's desk. Now, we're January, the midterms are in November. Time is of essence. Is there a chance they can get this done? There's always a chance. Do I think they will get it done? My best case scenario would be that there is an executive order that really speeds this up so that in April, when first cybercabs roll out, we have a framework, which is national framework. And then at the same time, legislature has the time to really do the profound texts, and they will be voted on either before November or after November. So do I know anything? I do not. I just want for full transparency, because how I always are. We initially heard Mr. Keene, who is the New Jersey representative. My daughter-in-law is his press speaker. This is a pure coincidence. I learned that the day it all happened, but I just want to put this out so that nobody feels like, yes, Mr. Keene. And the first one you showed. So does that, that doesn't give me any more access or whatever, but I was very happy to see how supportive it is. And lots of people from both parties were supportive, but you are right. Yeah. Exactly, from both. And they want to have something bipartisan, which I think is a good idea. Now, does that give me full comfort? No, it does not. You said it. There's a little fraction in there that obviously has listened to the LiDAR and radar world of this world, who try to impose that all cars must have 3 systems because 3 systems are better than 1 system, right? Which is complete crap, and we all know it. And so Tesla will have to do the convincing work that actually 3 systems mess up any result and don't beat 1 system, that vision is the system to go. If we only get to the point that there is no obligation for 3 systems, but only results, measurable results matter for advancements, then we're good. But if that little fraction really pushes through with their 3 systems is better than whatever else, then we may have an issue. Not an issue that's technically unsolvable, but an issue where Tesla would really be proven wrong just by legislators who probably have no idea how it technically works. So that's where we are, waiting for the Senate meeting. We will have to continue working. This really needs us to stand up and lobby through the subcommittee hearings, and then especially when it gets to the House and the Senate floor, where everybody has to lobby. Now, do I believe that this is going for a good outcome? Yes, but the best outcome would be that those caps go away, that there is no LiDAR radar obligation. So it's really going into the details. When will we know these details? Well, now this subcommittee has 2 weeks for each member to bring text to it, and then they will publish what they are going to recommend to the House floor. That's when we have to get active again. And then the same on the Senate side.
Is this bill passed? Is this regulation passed part of a larger bill, or is it a standalone bill?
It's currently 12 or 15 little bills.
There's 12 bills.
Regroup in one.
Yeah.
So they've started with multiple little things, and they're now trying to draft. It's still
a federal framework.
The chances of this passing before the midterms is zero.
Oh.
It's zero. I mean, just go look at the historical facts. I mean, if you told me it was part of a headline bill that, the administration had put as a matter of urgency, there's a possibility it could pass by midterms.
That's why I hope for this executive order that precedes it all.
Yeah.
So that there's some core that will survive the midterms and which they can pick up and then vote on afterwards. That's my best case scenario. Now, will it come or not? I mean, I have the feeling President Trump and Elon are working on something. I mean, when you see how confident Elon is of rolling out cyber caps in April, he cannot be if he thinks this is all just going to hang in legislation for months and even years. So he must have some deep down confidence that he can put them on the streets. If not, why build them?
Yeah.
I don't know if cybercabs are rolling out in April. I mean, technically it's start of production. So, I mean, there's a number of, that is the reason Tesla has given start of production information and not launch is quite frankly, the regulatory and the timing piece for their system being ready for unsupervised. So I still think they've kind of left that window open. Start of production is, they're going to start assembling at a production level, at the system level in the factory in April. So just would keep those two distinctions in
how
mind.
long do you think in normal terms between start of production and rolling in the streets?
Look at Cybertruck. Start of production and actual deliveries. They delivered 10 cybercabs, I think, on the night.
The event
and then
in November.
and then how many months before they started delivering in volume? 3 months, in that range.
Yeah, and this is even a step. Before that. So
Prior.
just keep that in mind. I think what we call it SOP, start of production, but to be fully qualified, some of the terms like you have a quote unquote final release that's available in software. You need the whole package together. Right. Who knows? But I mean, hopefully soon after, to your point, hopefully it's not months and months and months and months. Hopefully it's soon after, but just keep in mind the current commit from Tesla is to start production in April. Again, you'd want cybercabs to be on the road, a month or two later. But anyway, I view this all as convergence, and I think Larry may be right in terms of this getting into a bill. These are just subcommittees meeting right now, but I think the thing for Tesla and Elon, and I think he knows what to do. He doesn't need to listen to us, but the president doesn't want to lose in AI, and if they start getting a bunch of vehicles out that are all, robo taxis, and they start getting a bunch of humanoids out there, and we're sitting here like we're physically and visibly behind, I think, that would be a problem, and he would either through executive order really support Elon and the team and what they're doing. I just think for me, this all comes back to, what does success look like? What are we measuring? And Alexandra said, as long as this is a metric based approach, then we're fine. But if all of a sudden this funny business about your car has to have these things, even though we're going to legislate technology as Congress people, I mean, most of these people, I mean, they have no business doing that. So I hope that is never the case. They just legislate results and outcomes, not you have to have all these things that would make us uncompetitive with the rest of the world.
Guys, I'm going to have to beg off. I have a 6:30 that I have to attend. So
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Larry.
We're going to do quick fire questions now. So we got this is what we normally do. Thank you, Larry. First one is, do you think that there's a chance that FSD could be offered, FSD for safety be offered for free? So there's a version of FSD. Now that they moved to subscription, some people were saying, hey, there should be a version of just for safety that should be offered for free.
Yes, it will run in the background, and you will have you will have things ported over from FSD that are not in the free active safety package maybe today or a year ago that will be in there. And the whole thing is like, how do I prevent my 2.5 ton object from bumping into somebody else at my fault? So I think there will be something running in the background, but if you didn't purchase, if you think you're driving the car, it's going to let you drive the car. But
yeah, but it wasn't that always the case. I mean, I started using FSD much later than all of you, and I got out of some critical situations because the car reacted, even though I didn't pay FSD. So I think that was always been the case and will probably continue to be the case.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, active collision avoidance, emergency braking, but it's much more expanded, faster.
Yeah, exactly. AI-driven, AI-based, yeah.
Okay, so they don't have to necessarily, it's a version of it that's always going to be there, but it's expanded, but it won't have to be charged. Yeah. Okay, what would you guys recommend? This is a thing that people are asking this question right now. It's like, okay, so now that he's announced that you can no longer buy FSD for $8,000 in the US after February 14th, people are wondering today, should I go ahead and buy FSD straight out at $8,000 or, it's not worth it?
I mean, I think people should, and I can actually see it because my referrals have reset. You have only 10 referrals that you can monetize, and then it takes a while until it reset. And apparently it reset beginning of the year. So anyway, 2 people just used my referrals because I got the emails updated that they did, which I seem grateful for, which mean, and they both purchased FSD. So I think this is, for many people, the moment where either they upgrade the car and add FSD for good or not. Now, look, my personal case, we're leasing the car still. And I was yesterday having a big discussion with my husband. Should we get a second one that we purchase and put FSD on it so we have it? Because once it's gone, it's gone. And this is probably the cheapest price you will ever amortize anything if you know what you're going to do with the car. Now, if it's only sitting in the driveway or in the garage, then maybe it's not worth it. But if you think the business model through, and if you believe that owning FSD gives you a better rate of return on the robotaxi usage that you're going to make out of it, which is a lot of assumptions, right? We don't have any clue yet how this business model works. But if you assume you want to use it as a robotaxi and they're going to let you have a good chunk of that revenue because you own FSD, or maybe even all, then it's worth it. But it's a bet on a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, I think you said it right. And I think it's really dependent on your situation. How long do you own cars, your usage, your utilization of it. So I don't think there's one answer to this question. And, we'll see. I do think Tesla wants to get more and more into this bundled model. But man, when you get into that model, I just want to come back to, you're going to have to be able to tell a story to people of like, well, what is this model? What does it mean to me, my finances? Because I still think today people don't understand, the probability of repair due to the lower part count and the way these cars are designed. Like these cars, per year of ownership going out many years, you have the lowest total cost of ownership. There's even surveys out there that have done formal rankings, consumer reports, and so forth. The story isn't getting told. The story that's still out there is batteries are going to go bad really quick, and these cars are made of plastic, and those are the two kind of stories that are just indisputably out there, and they're both wrong. And so getting back to this, Tesla's going to have to tell the story. Why are you doing why 214? What what are you trying to drive people to do? I think that would be interesting to understand.
Yeah, and let me add something that got a lot of reaction on X. I've been now following for a couple of months these Hardware 3 owners. And honestly, I feel for these people, right? There are many, and I'm talking about Hardware 3 owners that purchased FSD sometimes at prices up to $15,000. That's nearly double what it sold for today. So that, and I feel that Tesla's response is existent, but is very thin. Meaning we had in an earnings call, I think it was in July last year, Elon actually interrupting the CFO and saying, let's face it, we'll have to pay up for that. We'll have to develop something. These people were not done right and have to find a solution. And then we heard, I think in the shareholder meeting itself, a response saying, we're working on it. I mean, honestly, don't get me wrong on the timing, but it was two parts on that. Let's first finish FSD. When that is done, we're going to address it with a light version, right? Now for these people, they come and hear, okay, you cannot buy straight out FSD anymore, because one option they may have want to consider is at one point purchasing an AI4 or even AI5 car and being at least able to transfer that early investment that I did into FSD. And I hear them because, I don't know whether in the end those were the crucial miles that were collected to bring the system forward, because yes, we did change multiple times how finally all this data collection was useful or not, but they believed in the story. They contributed to this Kickstarter that the whole FSD idea was. And so I had hoped that Elon would reply to me, not because it's me, but because I think I'm a good messenger to bring this forward. I mean, it's not about me, the whole story. So anyways, he did not reply. So this bothers me a bit. And my hope is that it's actually no reply, because they have to coordinate, what they're going to reply, because it's going to be a commitment. And I really hope there will be a commitment to these people, because now they see suddenly that in a month that I can transfer hopefully into something, just goes completely away, and they feel stuck. And it's not right. It's just not right. And I mean, I don't know how many there are, if we're talking 10,000 cars or 100,000 cars, I don't know. But I do feel Tesla has to do something here, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yes, this is complicated though, and super complicated in product world. First off, I actually think Tesla believes that they are going to get to some form of maybe even unsupervised, or maybe a robo-taxi. I don't think they've taken that functionality or capability off the table. It's more of a time phased issue of it's gonna come later after it comes on the hardware 4 cars. So if Tesla gets to the point where these cars can't function in a similar meaningful manner, then I think there is a conversation to have. I think there's a number of things they could look at, potentially, like here's a 10-year license for FSD. If you think about going back to these figures of $15,000, if you give somebody, 10 years is 120 months, and if you're give somebody a 10-year license, I think that's a reasonable thing to say. Okay, you can, your next car you purchase. I don't want to make it up here and legislate it here in a podcast episode, but I think there's things that they can think through. I actually just think the situation's dynamic, and I don't think they actually have the answer today. There's these dependencies on what they can actually do. The best thing for Tesla is there's 3.5 to 4 million hardware 3 cars. That's a lot of money and potentially a lot of future revenue to even turn on subscriptions for people that don't have it, if they unlock unsupervised on hardware 3. So I think the engineering efforts are actually full throttle ahead to try to figure that out.
Just a couple of months ago, Ashok told told them that hardware 3 cars will be able to be put into the Robotaxi network. November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
so
that.
I think that's still very likely. One last question for you guys: is Optimus exclusively subscription? If FSD is exclusively subscription, do you think this will be the case as well?
Yeah, I mean, you remember when he was initially talking about $20,000, $30,000, that we were on a purchase price, but then it would still need a subscription to a modus operandi, I call it. My Optimus at home probably will do other things than your Optimus at home, or your Optimus in a factory, or your Optimus in a business. So I think it could be both, that you own the hardware, but you pay on a monthly basis the subscription to your functions.
Okay, makes sense. Doesn't mean just because they did subscription in FSD, they can do a subscription on the brains of Optimus, but doesn't mean.
Or maybe you can lease the hardware as well. You know, I mean, I think everything is open, right?
Yeah.
The price, though, whatever model it's actually distributed in, is going to vary widely in the beginning, starting extremely high, especially if you're going to participate and maybe call it a beta program with Tesla. It's gonna be extremely expensive, I think, per Optimus to do that. But you get your place in line early to do your own development and training to figure out if this is something you could ramp your workforce to or not. So there's a value on it. My point is just, it's going to take a while before there's a $20,000 Optimus. It's going to take a long time.
Question to you all. So the functions will probably be developed over time. Now, let's say they open the window for retail investors to purchase their hardware Optimus, right? And there will be first functions available, but it may not be the ironing that I want or the cooking that you want, but there will be something available. What is your pain point price up to which you would pay to have those first models?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy, because you know me, I'm going to pay whatever I need to pay. I don't care. I'll pay for it. I want
150,000?
No.
Okay, 100,000?
No,
let's go there. Let's go there, because I don't know either, but I mean...
Okay, I might do 50 grand. I don't know if I would do more. I don't know, man. This is it. This is getting crazy. And like, for me, getting the first Optimus is like Jeff going, I need to go to have a Cybertruck. I was like, you already have 3 other cars.
Is that how I talk?
Run to HR. We've got it now on tape.
Yeah, I'm HR, yes.
Why was I attacked?
I'm sorry. You didn't deserve it, Jeff. I'm your witness. I'm going with you.
I'm just saying that, yeah, I'm imagine very first Optimus, one of the first. I want to be there. Yeah, I would line up. I would stay overnight. I would pay big dollars. I would do it.
Okay,
yeah,
Jeff,
for me.
Should pay.
Am I supposed to do my Herbert? Am I supposed to do my Herbert imitation here?
Yours will be
when I respond.
Herbert. So go ahead.
And I'll keep this up a level. Yeah. Okay. For me, it's going to be dependent on its capability and its worthiness. Like if this is going to be something we're going to be doing active daily debugging, I don't know. It'll depend on how much bandwidth I have for that. But I would definitely spend a significant amount of money if over time it can improve, via software and they've got the hardware figured out. It'll actually be worth a lot. So yeah.
So do you
as much as a car,
with
sure.
That they will only come out sellable with AI5 chip?
Yeah.
No. Well, hang on. Sellable. So I think Tesla has to continue development on AI4 to get everything else with Optimus done. So think of actuators, think of supply chain, think of manufacturing, think of everything. And so there will be a lot of Optimus made on AI4. And I think a lot of the customers for that are going to be subsidiaries of Elon's companies. They're going to go into Tesla, they'll go to Starlink or SpaceX.
Or
and
the Defense Department.
Potentially. Yeah. So I think there will be, but maybe their capability, their bandwidth of task may be somewhat limited. And I think I do agree with Phil that with AI5, you do need it for, I would say, large mass production. But I'm not sure yet we understand the task list and the ceiling yet for AI4. So I do think it's going to start with AI4. I think they're going to wait for AI5. But if version 3 of Optimus, let's say it's 1 million units, I think Tesla wants to, do a majority of that on AI5 for sure.
And remember, there was this phrase recently, I don't recall who of the Tesla employees said it, that they learned their lesson from hardware 3 to AI4, that whatever upgrade is going to be upgradable easily, that the whole system is now built with that in mind.
Just open up the skull.
Look at
plug and play.
What is it?
Plug and
for Jeff?
Plug and play.
Jeff.
Pull out the chip. You can pull out the chip. Hey, listen, I said the skull. I didn't say other body parts. It could easily have been another body part where you pull out the chip.
I don't know where we're going here. I don't know where we're going here.
We don't have to go there. Thank you, guys. That was fun.
Herbert, you're trying to get your channel yanked down or what?
No.
Next time I come in a different corset.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Maybe Herbert in a corset. Bye.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.